Four individuals are seen rushing away from an unknown entity as the movie starts. Much to the despair of her husband, one of them, Eve, is captured and killed by mauling. The beast starts to devour her as they flee. A while later, when Jeff, his stepsister Alyssa, Mandy, Jeff's girlfriend, Alyssa's boyfriend Matt, and Jeff's buddy Sean were going on a camping trip, they discovered that the route had been closed off for forest rejuvenation. They park their car nonetheless and proceed on a hike. Matt discovers the abandoned bag of a Marine. Later that evening, as the others deliberate their course of action, Mandy wanders off the route and cries as she comes upon fragments of human remains. Once they reach her side, the others decide to summon the Rangers after learning what she has just seen. They come into a mutant beast on the way there that is feasting on an unknown object. At first, they try to avoid it, but it hears them and turns to face them. When Jeff attempts to frighten it away, it turns hostile and pursues them. They discover the movie's previous abandoned house while they are hiding away. While the others run to the house, Jeff decides to divert the creature's attention. Unfortunately, he was unaware that it was behind him, and as the others rushed to the house in shock over Jeff's death, they were attacked and killed by it. They are welcomed inside by one of the men who was already there. As they run in, the creature grabs Mandy and begins to pull her back while a woman lights something on fire and throws it at the creature. It lets go and they pull Mandy inside the house and the woman tends to her wounds. They run into the three survivors from earlier, Carl, his wife Vicky, and Douglas, who had barricaded every window and door to protect themselves from the monster inside the house. They add that although they did not erect all of the barriers since the residence was abandoned when they arrived. As the monster appears to test for weak areas and appears to know something about the home because it previously broke in through the cellar at an unknown time, the group chooses to assist them in further barricading the house and strengthening the weak spots. Douglas stays upstairs and won't assist. While Matt tells Alyssa she is overthinking everything and that it is only an animal, Alyssa tries to make sense of this in the kitchen. Carl and Sean hurry inside and assist them in blocking the kitchen window with a door as the thing tries to enter through there. The beast then starts searching for weak points before crashing upstairs. Carl, Sean, and Matt walk upstairs to look for it as Vicky goes to get fire while Douglas comes downstairs as a result of this. While the monster tries to break down the door, the gang upstairs finds a creature in a chamber and tries to shut the door. Mandy and Alyssa run upstairs to aid when the stick below won't ignite and struggle to pull a furniture in front of the door. Sean hurries downstairs as the beast rips a hole in the door. Sean then makes a second appearance with Bear Replant from earlier in the film and sprays the monster in the face as the girls continue to struggle. It appears to work because the creature flees. Douglas then offers his assistance in putting the dresser in front of the door and warns that it won't hold, so they must leave immediately. Sean continues to believe that the help he called earlier would arrive as they huddle below, but Douglas disputes this, claiming he has already called and no one has responded. Carl disagrees, saying that they shouldn't kill anyone since they need to sacrifice someone in order to escape. While Carl and Sean divert the monster and the four groups stay in communication via walkie-talkies, Matt agrees with both of them and decides to seek assistance. However, the monster catches on and attacks Matt after he warns the other groups that the creature is approaching. Sean and Carl want to enter the home again, but Douglas forbids them, claiming that everyone heard Matt say the thing was approaching. Douglas knocks down Vicky as she tries to allow them in, and Alyssa calls Carl and Sean and instructs them to head for the kitchen entrance. As the thing gets closer, Carl is still silent. Carl answers, and when the thing enters the home through the kitchen door, it notices that Carl and Sean have abandoned the flare and walkie-talkie it had been following. Carl strikes Douglas out. When Douglas wakes up, he is bound to the stairwell and cries out for release. Mandy follows Alyssa as she scans the home. Mandy hugs Alyssa while crying and tells her she is pregnant and to include her in whatever she is planning after Alyssa says she wants to kill the monster for what it has done. Sean, who is hysterical from the stress and does not want to pass away with a secret, is located. He admits that he was having an affair with Jeff. The party hears a walkie in the living room beeping as Alyssa breaks up the ensuing verbal altercation. They discover Matt alive and paging them in the cellar. When he finds Matt in the cellar, Carl leads Alyssa and Mandy down and starts to help him get out with Mandy's help. Carl makes the ultimate sacrifice by waiting for the creature while the others free Matt from it. Douglas, Mandy, and Sean are tied up as Alyssa works to save Matt. Vicky is sitting in shock and mourning her deceased spouse somewhere in the home. Alyssa keeps trying to help Matt, and he tries to tell them anything about the beast. She is certain that Matt can be rescued even if Douglas insists he is dying. As Vicky enters the room, he tries to persuade them once more that it would be better to use Matt as bait for their escape. He expects no better plan, so he asks for one. Alyssa responds that they know the creature will enter if they open the door, so she suggests trapping it and setting the house on fire as they flee. Sean agrees and says they must move quickly for Matt's sake. Douglas concurs. Douglas offers to assist in carrying Matt because it is his only chance. Sean releases Douglas's tie after Alyssa gives the signal. The others watch in horror as Douglas beats Matt to death as he tries to tell Alyssa he loves her. He challenges the others, claiming that it was straightforward and that he only accelerated a clock that was already ticking. The thing breaks in through the door as Douglas carries off Matt's body and continues to shout at the others. As the others watch in fear, Douglas is assaulted. Alyssa gets a bag and matches, and they flee to the kitchen as the monster eats Douglas. Mandy keeps watch as Alyssa runs to get the kerosene she saw earlier. The beast is eventually deterred from devouring Douglas' body and goes to investigate as they start to pour kerosene into the kitchen and knock something over. The monster searches the home for the others as a small portion burns. Sean, Mandy, and Vicky have shut the cellar door once more and are hiding within while the thing looks for them. The monster is enclosed in a space where Alyssa starts to burn it to death. Alyssa looks away from the flames and the others begin to exit the cellar through the other door. As Mandy informs her that they must go, Vicky notices Carl's lifeless corpse and rushes to his side to start speaking to him as if he were still alive. Sean cries out for them again as he is knocked to the ground, assaulted, and carried away by a different beast. Vicky is pulled away from Carl by Mandy, and they go. Vicky is being attacked from behind by the second beast as Mandy makes her way outside, and as she turns around, she notices that Vicky is starting to bleed from her tummy. Mandy watches and gasps when she sees Vicky being carried away and the creature's head. She dashes to find Alyssa. The beast pursues them as they flee. Alyssa encourages Mandy to get up and that she can as she falls, but the beast catches up. Mandy screams and gasps in despair as it strikes Alyssa. Mandy flees as Alyssa eventually passes away and the beast starts to eat her. She covers herself in dirt to hide her remaining scent from the creature and throws her overshirt to mask her scent. The second creature crashes through the driver's side glass, but she manages to reach their car in time to start it. She exits the passenger side and races around to the driver's side as the thing circles the vehicle in an attempt to get her. As it starts to climb over the automobile and knock it off balance, she reverses. She strikes it twice before driving off. A third monster emerges from the woods, approaches the second creature's side, and yells.